In 1961, Sophia Loren's cherished jewels were stolen in London, leaving her heartbroken. Sitting on the bed, she stared at her empty wardrobe, feeling the weight of the loss. Beside her, the legendary director Vittorio De Sica gently said, "Sophia, don't cry for what can't cry for you." His words, rooted in their shared Neapolitan background, reminded her that money comes and goes. Vintage photos capture moments like this, showing a side of old Hollywood that reveals the resilience behind the glitz and glamour. In 1967, Claudia Cardinal brought her European elegance to the sun-soaked beaches of California while filming Don't Make Waves. In a candid moment between takes, she shared a playful ride on a motorcycle with a child, capturing the carefree spirit of the era. This rare moment highlights vintage photos that show how stars like Cardinal balanced glamour with a genuine warmth, a true reflection of the golden age of Hollywood. Her role in the film cemented her place as one of the most adored international actresses of her time. In 1933, amidst the backdrop of the Great Depression, Joan Blondell brought a spark of humor and resilience to the set of Gold Diggers of 1933. As the quick-witted Carole King, she delivered sharp one-liners and ad-libbed moments that became iconic. Her portrayal of a showgirl navigating tough times resonated with audiences, offering both entertainment and a reflection of the era's challenges. Hollywood Golden Era cinema reached new heights through Blondell's performance, which stood out in a film known for its lavish musical numbers and choreography. This old photograph captures the spirit of both struggle and glamour during a pivotal time in old Hollywood history. In December 1954, Marilyn Monroe posed in a crimson velvet gown for photographer Milton H. Green, marking a pivotal moment in her career. Captured in Green's rustic Connecticut studio, these photographs showcased Monroe shedding her iconic blonde bombshell image, revealing a more introspective and sophisticated side. This collaboration not only produced timeless vintage photographs, but also signified Monroe's desire to take control of her narrative in the entertainment industry. The Hollywood Golden Age was often defined by carefully curated images, and Monroe's partnership with Green allowed her to redefine her public persona on her own terms. These rare photos remain a testament to her enduring legacy and the transformative power of self-representation in old Hollywood. In 1955, Anita Ekberg's rise from Miss Sweden to Hollywood sensation was swift and dazzling. At just 23 years old, she became the epitome of 1950s glamour, captivating audiences with her beauty and bold sensuality. That year, she starred in Artists and Models, showcasing her comedic timing and natural charm. Off-screen, Ekberg's life mirrored her on-screen persona, seen at glamorous parties and sun-soaked beaches. Yet she remained grounded, once humorously saying, "I was just a farm girl who liked to dance." These vintage celebrities' photos offer a rare glimpse into Ekberg's journey in Hollywood's golden age, where she crafted her own legendary story. In 1955, Anita Ekberg became one of Hollywood's most talked-about stars, known for her voluptuous beauty and playful charm. At 23, she made her mark in Artists and Models, where she stole the spotlight with her comedic timing and stunning presence. This black and white photography captures her not only as a bombshell, but as a woman with depth, embodying the era's glamorous yet strong female figures. Ekberg's life off-screen was just as captivating. Jetted to glamorous parties and exotic locations, she lived her life as boldly as her screen roles. Her journey through Hollywood history redefined the expectations of beauty and stardom during the Hollywood Golden Age. In the 1950s, Vera Miles emerged as a rising star in Hollywood, captivating audiences with her poised performances and striking beauty. After being crowned Miss Kansas in 1948, she transitioned into acting, securing roles in films like The Searchers, 1956, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962, both directed by John Ford. Her collaboration with Alfred Hitchcock began with The Wrong Man, 1956, followed by her iconic portrayal of Leela Crane in Psycho, 1960. Despite her rising fame, Miles faced personal challenges, including a pivotal decision to step away from the lead role in Vertigo due to pregnancy, which led to Kim Novak taking over the part. Her resilience and dedication to her craft solidified her legacy in Hollywood history, making her a notable figure of the Hollywood Golden Age. In 1944, Gene Tierney's portrayal of Laura Hunt in Otto Preminger's Laura captivated audiences, establishing her as one of Hollywood's most enigmatic leading ladies. The film noir classic, set against the backdrop of a haunting murder mystery, showcased Tierney's ethereal beauty and complex depth. Her performance, combined with the film's moody cinematography, earned Laura a spot in the National Film Registry for its cultural significance. This vintage photograph captures Tierney in a moment that reflects the film's blend of allure and suspense, embodying the essence of Hollywood legends during the golden age of cinema. In 1944, Gene Tierney's portrayal of Laura Hunt in Otto Preminger's film noir classic Laura captivated audiences, establishing her as one of Hollywood's most enigmatic leading ladies. The film's haunting cinematography, combined with Tierney's ethereal beauty, created an atmosphere of suspense and allure. Her performance, coupled with the film's moody lighting and intricate plot twists, earned Laura a spot in the National Film Registry for its cultural significance. This vintage photograph captures Tierney in a moment that reflects the film's blend of glamour and mystery, embodying the essence of Hollywood's legends during the golden age of cinema. In the summer of 1936, the set of The Gorgeous Hussy buzzed with tension as Joan Crawford and Robert Taylor clashed over their roles. Crawford, known for her meticulous approach, often found herself at odds with Taylor's more relaxed demeanor. Despite their differences, the on-screen chemistry between their characters, Peggy O'Neill and Beau Timberlake, captivated audiences. Off-screen, their interactions ranged from tense exchanges to moments of camaraderie, reflecting the complexities of Hollywood's golden age. This rare vintage photograph captures a candid moment between the two stars, offering a glimpse into the dynamics of classic film sets. Their collaboration, marked by both conflict and cooperation, remains a testament to the enduring allure of old Hollywood. What do you think about the chemistry between Joan Crawford and Robert Taylor on set? Let us know in the comments. In 1965, the sexual revolution surged, and Italian actress Verna Lisi became the face of defiance in The Dolls. In the provocative film, Lisi portrayed Clara, a bourgeois housewife whose sexual awakening shakes her marriage to its core. Known for her beauty, Lisi defied Hollywood's objectification, choosing roles that allowed her to express her intellectual side. In The Dolls, she showed a raw vulnerability, pushing boundaries for female sexuality and power. The film was a turning point, establishing her as not just a beauty but a serious artist. These vintage photos capture Lisi at her finest, symbolizing the shift in old Hollywood where beauty was no longer just a commodity but a tool for rebellion. When Howard Hughes plucked 19-year-old Jane Russell from obscurity to star in The Outlaw in 1943, her smoldering gaze and hourglass figure, wrapped in a scandalous push-up brassiere Hughes designed himself, ignited a firestorm of censorship battles that made her an instant legend before the film even premiered. Yet Russell, a San Fernando Valley native with a contralto singing voice and razor-sharp wit, refused to be reduced to her measurements. By 1953's Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, she stole scenes from Marilyn Monroe as the sardonic Dorothy Shaw. Her activism and business acumen predated Hollywood's empowerment narratives. What do you think of Jane Russell's legacy as a trailblazer for women in Hollywood? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. In 1953, Audrey Hepburn was transitioning from the success of Roman Holiday to becoming an icon in Sabrina. Captured by photographer Dennis Stock during the shoot, Hepburn's elegance and grace were on full display. These vintage photographs showcase the perfect moment before Hepburn's rise to global fame, where her youthful charm and professionalism were being refined. As tensions on set simmered, Hepburn remained poised, laying the foundation for her iconic style that would inspire generations. Her transformation from ingenue to sophisticated star was captured forever in these rare images, immortalizing the heart of Hollywood legends. In April 1957, Marilyn Monroe stood in Grand Army Plaza, only to be engulfed by a frenzy of admirers. This iconic moment, captured by photographer Sam Shaw, marked Marilyn's transition from the blonde bombshell to a serious artist, studying at the Actors Studio and distancing herself from the roles that had made her famous. Dressed in a black dress and her signature red lipstick, she became a living legend in the streets of New York. This rare vintage photograph of Monroe surrounded by her admirers is a testament to her magnetic presence, capturing a moment where old Hollywood collided with the modern world. In the 1930s, starlets Rochelle Hudson and Anita Louise took a rare break from their hectic Hollywood careers to enjoy a quiet afternoon at the Japanese Gardens. Nestled in the heart of Los Angeles, this peaceful retreat was a sanctuary for the stars of the era. In flowing tea dresses, Hudson and Louise fed koi and chatted, far removed from the glitz of the movie studio. These rare photos reflect a quieter, more private side of Hollywood Golden Age stars, who, despite their public personas, found solace in moments of peace and reflection. In River of No Return, 1954, Marilyn Monroe faced the wild frontier of Canada's Banff National Park, proving her worth as an actress beyond her sex symbol status. The film's rugged setting and her strong performance marked a shift in Monroe's career as she fought against typecasting. Directed by Otto Preminger, Monroe's role as Kay in this CinemaScope Western showcased her vulnerability and inner strength, foreshadowing her growth as a dramatic actress. This vintage image reflects her journey toward redefining her public image in old Hollywood, where she began to prove she was much more than just a glamorous figure. Elizabeth Taylor's career spanned decades, cementing her as the last true star of Hollywood's golden age. Her violet eyes captivated audiences in classics like National Velvet, 1944, and Giant, 1956. But it was her dramatic roles and personal life that turned her into an icon. Taylor's 2 Oscar wins, her turbulent marriages, and her outspoken activism, especially in the fight against AIDS, defined her legacy. Taylor's ability to balance glamour with real-world struggles made her a symbol of strength and resilience in an industry that often reduced women to stereotypes. These vintage photos capture her as the epitome of both beauty and power in old Hollywood. Anita Ekberg's iconic role in La Dolce Vita 1960 made her a global star, immortalizing her in the Trevi Fountain scene. The Swedish beauty who had once been crowned Miss Sweden was now Hollywood's most alluring bombshell, later becoming an even bigger sensation in Italy. This vintage photograph of Ekberg in Rome captures her seductive presence, symbolizing the essence of European cinema during the Hollywood Golden Age. Despite her Hollywood fame, Ekberg's career was marked by challenges against typecasting, as she fought for more meaningful roles in Italian films. She wasn't just a beauty, she was a force of nature. In City Streets, 1931, director Ruben Mamoulian revolutionized cinema with his use of subjective sound, immersing audiences in the fractured psyche of Sylvia Sidney's character Nan. This early noir film, featuring Gary Cooper as the morally conflicted protagonist, set the stage for the crime thrillers that would define Hollywood in the coming decades. Despite being cut by the Hays Office, City Streets remains a pivotal film in cinematic history, influencing the likes of Hitchcock and Wells. This vintage image encapsulates the gritty realism of the era, capturing a moment of change in old Hollywood as sound films began to reshape the industry. Leslie Caron's performance in Gigi, 1958, was a testament to her resilience, balancing the pressure of 16-hour workdays and the expectations of a $3 million budget. As the titular character, she embodied both youthful charm and poignant vulnerability, making her one of the standout stars of the 1950s. Off-screen, Caron navigated tension with co-stars and a demanding production, but her dedication paid off when Gigi swept the 1959 Oscars. This vintage photograph of Caron captures her in a moment of grace, showcasing the poise and strength that defined her career in old Hollywood. The 1939 set of Destry Rides Again crackled with an alchemy no one saw coming. Marlene Dietrich, the aloof German siren whose career was floundering after a string of box office failures, reborn as a raucous saloon singer named Frenchie, trading her signature sequins for dirt-streaked petticoats. Across from her stood James Stewart, the lanky, aw-shucks everyman fresh from Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, his folksy charm the perfect foil to her world-weary sensuality. Director George Marshall gambled on casting them against type. Dietrich as a brawling, card-sharp harlot, Stewart as a pacifist sheriff who refuses to carry a gun, and struck gold. Their chemistry, particularly in the legendary barroom brawl where Dietrich hurls a plate at a rival, then collapses into Stewart's arms, blurred the line between parody and passion, reinventing both stars in the process. What do you think of the unlikely pairing of Dietrich and Stewart in this film? Let us know in the comments. Born Ruby Stevens in 1907 Brooklyn, orphaned by age 4 and raised in foster homes, Barbara Stanwyck clawed her way from chorus girl to one of the most versatile and enduring stars of Hollywood's golden age, without ever signing a studio contract. Her 1930 breakout in Ladies of Leisure revealed a raw, naturalistic talent that rejected the era's theatrical affectations. By 1937's Stella Dallas, her performance as a working-class mother earned her the first of 4 Oscar nominations. Off-screen, she lived as fiercely as her roles, managing her own stunts and mentoring newcomers like Marilyn Monroe. What do you think made Barbara Stanwyck such a legendary figure in Hollywood? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In the smoky, scandalous world of pre-code Hollywood, Marguerite Churchill carved a unique path as an actress who balanced ethereal beauty with a sharp, modern edge. She made her mark with roles in The Big Trail, 1930, and Dracula's Daughter, 1936, captivating audiences with her intense, independent characters. Off-screen, Churchill rejected the typical starlet image, marrying explorer George O'Brien and retreating to a ranch in Arizona. Her legacy lingers in the shadows of pre-code films, where women were allowed complexity, ambition, and desire. Her career is a testament to the rare photos of Hollywood's rebellious spirit when actresses like Churchill broke the mold. With her porcelain complexion, fiery auburn hair, and understated intensity, Deborah Kerr emerged in the 1940s as Britain's most refined export, only to dismantle her genteel image with seismic force. She was initially cast as the epitome of restraint, but it was her role in From Here to Eternity that shattered perceptions, and her subsequent performances in Black Narcissus and Tea and Sympathy revealed a depth that would become her hallmark. By the 1960s, Kerr's career transitioned into dramatic roles, and her dedication to her craft became evident in every performance. Kerr's evolution from a restrained beauty to a dramatic force is captured in these vintage photographs, epitomizing the transformation of old Hollywood stars. In the smoky glow of late 1950s London, Shirley Ann Field emerged as a luminous talent, her arresting beauty and raw emotional depth setting her apart in Britain's burgeoning new wave cinema. She starred in Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, 1960, and The Entertainer, 1960, becoming an iconic face of post-war British cinema. Despite industry pressures, Field refused to be typecast, demanding roles that challenged societal norms. She eventually transitioned to theater and TV, earning acclaim in The Rachel Papers, 2017, and Murder, She Wrote, 1985. Her daring choices in roles mirror the fearless spirit of vintage celebrities, reshaping expectations in both old Hollywood and British cinema. Raquel Welch's breakthrough in 1,000,000 years BC, 1966, catapulted her to fame, but she was always more than just a bombshell. Despite Hollywood's attempts to typecast her as a sex symbol, Welch took control of her career, negotiating her own contracts and producing her own films. In Fantastic Voyage, 1966, and Bedazzled, 1967, she proved her range, blending beauty with intelligence and wit. Welch's career in the 60s wasn't just about her iconic looks, it was about a woman who wielded her sex appeal on her own terms. Welch's transformation from bombshell to businesswoman was captured in vintage images, symbolizing the evolving power of women in Hollywood history. When the clock struck noon in 1952, High Noon didn't just unfold, it detonated, shattering the myth of the untouchable Western hero with the precision of a gunslinger's bullet. Gary Cooper's portrayal of Will Kane, a marshal abandoned by his cowardly town, exposed the loneliness of courage. Behind the scenes, tensions ran high as the film became a vehicle for Carl Foreman's allegorical message about McCarthy-era betrayals. High Noon broke new ground, influencing westerns, thrillers, and even modern cinema. The film's legacy is etched in vintage photographs that showcase how Hollywood's Golden Age classics subverted genres to make bold political statements. In 1941, Joan Leslie's wholesome beauty and natural talent captured the spirit of wartime America. After starring opposite James Cagney in High Sierra, 1941, she became one of Hollywood's brightest rising stars. Her role as the steady love interest in Sergeant York, 1941, solidified her as the epitome of the all-American girl. But behind her angelic image, Leslie fought against Hollywood's exploitation of young actresses, ultimately making a stand against studio control. Her story, captured in vintage photos, exemplifies the old Hollywood stars who fought for their autonomy and paved the way for future generations. In the early 1970s, Sybil Shepherd became an iconic figure, redefining the role of the American woman in cinema. Her breakout role in The Last Picture Show, 1971, revealed her raw talent, followed by her time in Taxi Driver, 1976, as Betsy, showing her ability to balance innocence with idealism. She later defied Hollywood's rules as Maddie Hayes in Moonlighting, 1985, where her creative demands reshaped television's leading roles for women. Shepherd's legacy is a testament to a woman who controlled her narrative and defied the industry's limitations. Shepherd's refusal to conform is immortalized in vintage photographs, showcasing how she defied Hollywood history to become her own legend. The Dolly sisters, Rosie and Jenny, were the shining stars of the Jazz Age, captivating audiences with their beauty and charm. Known for their dazzling performances on Broadway and in Europe, they were icons of the 1920s. Despite their fame, their careers were marked by scandal and personal tragedy, from financial ruin to broken relationships. Yet their legacy survives in the glittering world of early Hollywood, where their talent and defiance left a lasting imprint on the industry. The vintage photograph of the Dolly sisters is a glimpse into the bold women of old Hollywood, whose stars burned bright and defied the constraints of their era. The summer of 1957 found Marilyn Monroe at a crossroads, fresh off the grueling production of The Prince and the Showgirl with Laurence Olivier and emotionally drained from her tumultuous marriage to Arthur Miller. Seeking solace, she escaped to the sun-bleached shores of Amagansett, Long Island, where photographer Sam Shaw captured her in a rare, unguarded moment. Barefoot in the sand, her ivory sundress fluttering in the Atlantic breeze, a vision of carefree joy. These vintage photos, now iconic, belie the turbulence beneath the surface. Just a year earlier, she had famously whispered, "Happy birthday, Mr. President," to JFK at Madison Square Garden, her star power undeniable, yet her private life was a labyrinth of studio pressures and personal demons. Her unguarded moment, captured in these vintage photographs, reveals the complexity of a woman torn between her public persona and the quiet longing for freedom. In 1955, a 21-year-old Shirley MacLaine was just on the cusp of stardom, her big break arriving in the most serendipitous way possible. While understudying for Carol Haney in the Broadway production of The Pajama Game, MacLaine stepped into the lead role when Haney injured her ankle, and Hollywood took notice. Legendary producer Hal B. Wallace, in the audience that night, was so captivated by her electric stage presence that he signed her to a Paramount contract almost immediately. Within months, she made her film debut in Alfred Hitchcock's The Trouble with Harry, 1955, her offbeat charm and naturalistic acting style standing out even in the master of suspense's darkly comic world. MacLaine's breakthrough is an early example of how vintage celebrities could turn moments of serendipity into lasting legacies. In the roaring 1920s, when silent films were giving way to talkies, Marion Byron emerged as a vivacious talent with a mischievous charm that lit up the screen. Born in 1911 in Dayton, Ohio, she broke into Hollywood as a teenager. Her big break coming in 1928 when Buster Keaton cast her as the spirited love interest in Steamboat Bill Jr. Her performance, a blend of wide-eyed pluck and razor-sharp comedic timing, made her an instant standout. But unlike her contemporaries, her star burned bright and brief. Marion Byron's talent flickered brightly but never fully ignited, making her a rare photo in the archives of old Hollywood. The golden light of a Jamaican afternoon bathed Grace Kelly in an almost cinematic glow as she lounged on the sun-dappled shores of Montego Bay, captured forever in Howell Conan's lens. It was 1955, a year before her fairy tale ascent to Monaco's throne. And here, far from Hollywood's rigid glamour, she was simply Grace, effortlessly elegant in a striped Breton top, her windswept blonde hair framing a face that had already enchanted the world. The trip was a brief escape between filming High Society and her whirlwind romance with Prince Rainier III. This vintage photograph is a testament to Grace Kelly's ability to balance her iconic Hollywood persona with moments of private serenity. Brigitte Bardot, the iconic French actress and cultural symbol, was born on September 28, 1934, in Paris, emerging as a defining figure of 20th-century cinema and fashion. By the mid-1950s, her breakout role in Et Dieu créa la femme, 1956, catapulted her to international stardom, embodying the liberated spirit of post-war Europe. The film revolutionized French cinema and solidified Bardot's status as a sex symbol. Her vintage image, with tousled blonde hair and an unapologetically sensual presence, captivated the world. Bardot's vintage photo is a perfect snapshot of Hollywood legends, encapsulating the 1950s cultural shift. Marilyn Monroe, photographed at her apartment in Beverly Carlton Hotel, 1951, showcases a quiet moment away from the camera's glare. This vintage photograph captures a side of Monroe rarely seen in her iconic public persona: vulnerable, introspective, and unguarded. Behind the scenes, Monroe was preparing for roles that would challenge her typecasting. Yet here, she is simply Norma Jean, navigating the complexities of fame. These vintage photos serve as a glimpse into Monroe's more personal side, away from the spotlight. She wasn't created by Hollywood. She built herself in heels and defiance. Banned in cities, loved by millions, envied by starlets. She never needed a script to own a stage. She danced, dated Elvis, and married into scandal. But her greatest act? Staying unforgettable. Who was the queen who turned desire into power? Dive into her story below. This vintage image immortalizes the icon who transcended Hollywood's restrictions and defined her own narrative. What aspect of her life do you find most intriguing? Let us know in the comments. Record stores, roller rinks, and radio hits. Hair had height, cars had soul, and life had rhythm. Kids drank from hoses. Parents danced in the kitchen. Friday night lights, Sunday drives, and no one rushed. Everything felt new, even the rules they broke. The boomers. They didn't follow the vibe, they were the vibe. This vintage photo captures the essence of a generation that redefined Hollywood history and pop culture. Barbara Eden, with her stunning blue eyes and timeless beauty, became a symbol of charm and grace in old Hollywood. Her breakout role as Jeannie in I Dream of Jeannie, 1965, turned her into a beloved icon of American television. Though she achieved widespread fame, Eden remained grounded, continuing to be a source of inspiration for many. This vintage photo of Barbara Eden represents the Hollywood golden age that continues to influence entertainment. Brigitte Bardot, in a promotional shot for Doctor at Sea, 1955, exudes effortless glamour with her radiant smile and confident poise. As one of the most influential figures in cinema, Bardot set the stage for future generations of actresses to embrace both beauty and independence. In this vintage photograph, Bardot captures the essence of her era, fearless, independent, and unapologetically sensual. She doesn't smile in this photograph, and she doesn't need to. The woman known as Big Nose Kate, born Mary Catherine Haroni, had already outlived most of the legends around her by 1880. You can almost feel the desert wind in her hair and the pistol's weight beneath her skirts. A Hungarian aristocrat turned outlaw nurse, she was no sidekick or saloon girl. She was Doc Holliday's equal, his lover, and sometimes his savior. Sharp-tongued, unflinching, and unpredictable as a six-shooter at midnight. This vintage photo of Kate captures the spirit of old Hollywood, where real-life legends were often more dramatic than the myths they left behind. Marilyn Monroe poses for a publicity portrait for the 20th Century Fox film Bus Stop in Los Angeles, California, 1956. The image of Marilyn, with her platinum blonde hair and sultry gaze, became one of the most iconic photographs of old Hollywood. It was a moment in time where she stood as both a symbol of beauty and strength, balancing the demands of fame and the pursuit of artistic respect. The vintage photographs from this session perfectly encapsulate the complexities of Marilyn's career during the Hollywood Golden Age. She walked onto the stage with a voice like crystal and a heart full of steel. To audiences, she was the girl next door, sweet, proper, perfect. But behind those doe eyes was a woman who took on Hollywood's expectations, defied typecasting, and stunned critics with one unforgettable turn. How did this small-town choir girl become the soul of America's musicals? Let's dive into the story. What do you think made her stand out from the typical Hollywood actresses of the time? Share your thoughts below. Jane Mansfield poses at Maryland in Los Angeles, California, 1956. Known for her blonde bombshell image, Mansfield's flirtatious charm and iconic looks captured the essence of old Hollywood allure. Despite her public persona, she was an accomplished actress and businesswoman, constantly challenging the limits of her image. Her vintage photographs still reflect the glamour and the often misunderstood depth of 1950s film stars. Marilyn Monroe in Los Angeles, California, photographed by Earl Thyssen, 1951. This iconic photograph captures Monroe in her early years as she navigated the pressures of old Hollywood. Her transition from a model to a beloved actress was marked by both vulnerability and a magnetic presence that captivated millions. These vintage photos represent the beginning of an era where Hollywood Golden Age icons were forged in the bright lights of the silver screen. Ellie Mae and Miss Hathaway modeling their summer swimsuits before taking a dip in the cement pond. Their playful poses captured an era where glamour met fun, and characters like these became staples of old Hollywood television. This vintage photograph showcases the innocence and charm that defined the 1960s TV era. The year was 1959, and Elizabeth Taylor stood at a crossroads. No longer the violet-eyed child star of National Velvet, 1944, but not yet the tempestuous Oscar winner of Butterfield 8, 1960. Suddenly, last summer thrust her into uncharted territory, portraying Catherine Hawley, a traumatized heiress threatened with lobotomy. Taylor's portrayal transcended controversy, becoming a metaphor for Hollywood's own unraveling studio system. This vintage photograph of Taylor captures the shift in Hollywood history, marking the transition from the glamorous past to the darker era of method acting. There's a haunting poetry to Malibu in muted light, the way Pacific fog rolls in, softening the edges of the coastline until the world feels suspended in a silver gelatin dream. On one such moody afternoon, filmmaker Mike Gray turned his Pentax 67 toward actress and writer Anna Akana, their collaboration yielding a series of arresting black and white frames shot on Kodak T-Max. This black and white photography captured Akana's introspective stillness, encapsulating the melancholic beauty that is often the hallmark of Hollywood history. In the sun-dappled summer of 1963, Brigitte Bardot and Sammy Frey wandered the pastel-hued streets of Capri, their effortless style immortalized in candid photographs. Their romance, played out against Capri's dramatic cliffs and the island's legendary Piazzetta, epitomized the carefree hedonism of the 1960s jet set. This vintage photograph of Bardot and Frey is an emblem of the Hollywood legends whose off-screen lives defined the era as much as their films. In 1974, a young Sally Mann was just beginning her journey into photography, unaware that she would become one of the most provocative and celebrated artists of her generation. Born in 1951 in Lexington, Virginia, Mann grew up immersed in the lush, Gothic landscapes of the South. Her early experiments with a 19th-century Deardorff large-format camera, like the one seen in this 1974 image, revealed her fascination with light, shadow, and the interplay of time. Mann's vintage photographs and her intimate, personal approach to photography paved the way for future generations to challenge conventions in art and portraiture. With her husky voice and penetrating gaze, Lizabeth Scott became one of the defining faces of 1940s and 50s film noir, embodying the dangerous allure of Hollywood's shadowy underworld. Born Emma Matzo in 1921 Scranton, Pennsylvania, she reinvented herself as a New York model before catching the eye of producer Hal Wallace, who signed her to Warner Bros. In 1945. Her breakthrough came in The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, 1946, opposite Barbara Stanwyck, but it was her sultry performances in Dead Reckoning, 1947, with Humphrey Bogart, and Too Late for Tears, 1949, that cemented her as the quintessential femme fatale, mysterious, seductive, and always one step ahead. Scott's vintage photos capture the smoky, alluring energy of Hollywood legends from the golden age of film noir. In the neon-lit world of 1950s B-movies, Allison Hayes emerged as a striking presence, blending elegance with a knack for the macabre. Born Mary Jane Hayes in 1930 Charleston, West Virginia, she moved to New York as a model before Warner Bros. Signed her in 1954. Hayes quickly became a fixture in genre films, her statuesque beauty and commanding screen presence landing her roles in The Unearthly, 1957, and The Disembodied, 1957. Hayes's vintage photographs immortalize her role as a vintage celebrity, defining the era's most iconic Hollywood history tropes. In 1964, Natalie Wood dazzled audiences as Helen Gurley Brown's vivacious alter ego in Sex and the Single Girl, a film that encapsulated the shifting sexual mores of 1960s America. Directed by Richard Quine, the movie mirrored the era's fascination with female independence. Wood's performance, balancing wit and vulnerability, echoed the tensions of a nation grappling with Vietnam and the sexual revolution. This vintage photo of Natalie Wood captures the essence of the Hollywood Golden Era, a time when the silver screen was a mirror to societal change. In the sun-drenched summer of 1959, Sandra Dee, the effervescent teen idol, lit up the silver screen as the titular character in Gidget, a film that captured the carefree spirit of post-war America. Shot on the iconic beaches of Malibu, California, the movie immortalized the burgeoning surf culture, with Dee's portrayal of Francie Gidget Lawrence embodying the youthful exuberance of the era. This vintage image of Sandra Dee at Malibu, part of Hollywood history, marks a cultural moment of innocence and carefree adventure before the tumult of the 1960s. Paul Rubens with Debbie Mazar, 1980s. Captured in the 1980s, this image shows two prominent figures of the era who defined their respective generations. Rubens, famous for his character Pee Wee Herman, and Mazar, an actress known for her roles in films like Goodfellas, became part of Hollywood's evolving landscape in the 1980s. This vintage photograph captures the spirit of retro Hollywood, marking the dawn of a new wave of entertainment in the industry. Sandra Dee and Troy Donahue star in A Summer Place, 1959. Directed by Delmer Daves, this film captured the complexities of youthful romance against a backdrop of post-war American society. The photo represents a moment when Hollywood's golden age began to shift, with Dee and Donahue embodying the idealized couple caught between innocence and desire. This vintage photo remains a snapshot of the 1950s Hollywood Golden Age, where the allure of romance and youthful beauty was at the forefront of cinematic storytelling. An 18-year-old Diana Spencer, while working as a nanny, takes her charge for a walk in 1979. Little did the world know that this young woman would eventually become the Princess of Wales. Captured before her royal destiny unfolded, this vintage photograph offers a glimpse of Diana's quiet, humble beginnings before the media storm that would follow her. This vintage image of Diana shows a simple moment that belies her extraordinary future as one of the most iconic figures of modern royalty. Anne Margaret is a Swedish-American actress, singer, and dancer who became one of the most popular and versatile stars of the 1960s and beyond. Known for her stunning beauty, magnetic stage presence, and extraordinary talent, she gained fame as a sex symbol during her early career. Her breakout moment came with her performance in the film Bye Bye Birdie, 1963. Her vintage photographs perfectly capture the essence of Hollywood legends and the glamorous Hollywood personas that defined the 1960s. Rita Hayworth, the stunning actress of the 1940s, remains one of Hollywood's greatest icons. Her films such as Gilda, 1946, made her the ultimate femme fatale, captivating audiences with her beauty, charm, and on-screen presence. This vintage photo of Hayworth embodies the allure and sophistication that made her an enduring figure in Hollywood history. Her influence in old Hollywood continues to resonate with fans and filmmakers alike, with her image forever immortalized on the silver screen. She didn't audition. She entered like a force of nature. No stunt double, no modesty, no apologies. Directors whispered, "wild." Critics called her exotic, but none could tame her. Who was the barefoot storm that made ancient epics feel dangerously modern? Find out in the comment below. What do you think made her so unforgettable? Share your thoughts in the comments. Brigitte Bardot, captured in Spain in 1968, exuded effortless glamour and undeniable charisma. At the height of her fame, she had become an international symbol of sensuality and liberation, with her platinum blonde hair and sun-kissed skin becoming iconic. Bardot's role in And God Created Woman, 1956, had already catapulted her to stardom. But by the 1960s, she was not just a film star, she was a cultural phenomenon. This vintage photo of Bardot captures her free-spirited essence, making her one of the most memorable Hollywood legends of all time. Kirk Douglas, an indomitable force in Hollywood, receives a visit from his sons Joel and Michael on the set of The Big Trees, 1952, at Warner Bros. Studios. Known for his fierce performances and legendary work in films like Spartacus, 1960, Douglas was at the height of his career in the early 50s, a period of intense creativity and dedication. This vintage photo highlights a rare family moment amid the bustle of the Hollywood Golden Era, where personal connections were often captured alongside legendary performances. Claudia Cardinale in Lost Command, 1966, portrayed the embodiment of grace and strength amidst the backdrop of war. Directed by Mark Robson, this film saw Cardinale take on a dramatic role that solidified her as one of the most versatile actresses of her generation. With her natural beauty and intense screen presence, she became one of Hollywood's golden age icons. This vintage image of Claudia captures the commanding presence that made her a true Hollywood legend of the 1960s. Rita Hayworth, captured on the set of Gilda, 1946, defined the image of the femme fatale with her fiery red hair and unforgettable on-screen charisma. Gilda became a defining moment in her career, where she embodied the ultimate screen goddess, blending allure with mystery. This vintage photograph of Hayworth stands as a testament to the strength and allure of Hollywood history during the 1940s. American actor Kirk Douglas, photographed while wearing a swimsuit and signing autographs on the thigh of two women, Novella Perugini and Lily Greco, at Venice Beach in 1953. Douglas was in Venice for the showing of The Bad and the Beautiful, and this image captured the actor's playful and charismatic side. This vintage image of Douglas at the Venice Film Festival offers a glimpse into retro Hollywood and the glamour that defined its stars during the 50s. Hattie McDaniel and Shirley Temple, captured in 1948, represent two very different but iconic faces of Hollywood's golden age. McDaniel, the first African-American woman to win an Oscar, and Temple, a beloved child star, show the diverse range of talent in Hollywood at the time. This vintage photo of McDaniel and Temple reminds us of Hollywood legends who broke barriers and became timeless figures in Hollywood history. Claudia Cardinale, Jean Sorel, and director Luchino Visconti at the gala night of the 26th Venice Film Festival in 1965. The festival, known for its elegance and cultural significance, was the perfect backdrop for this image, capturing the sophisticated glamour of the era's European cinema. This vintage photograph showcases the synergy between Hollywood Golden Age cinema and European artistry, exemplified by Cardinale's undeniable star power. Clark Gable and Mamie Van Doren, photographed backstage during the filming of Teacher's Pet, 1958. Gable, a legend known for his role in Gone with the Wind, 1939, and Van Doren, one of Hollywood's platinum blondes, made a striking pair. This meeting was an iconic moment in the history of retro Hollywood. This vintage image of Gable and Van Doren captures the glamour and power dynamics of old Hollywood, where legends often met behind the scenes. Claudia Cardinale, photographed in the 1960s, exudes the allure and charm that made her one of the most beloved actresses of Hollywood's golden era. Known for her roles in films like The Leopard, 1963, Cardinale became synonymous with elegance and cinematic beauty. This vintage photograph of Claudia captures the timeless nature of Hollywood legends, cementing her legacy as one of the era's most iconic figures. Lana Wood, photographed at a photo call in 1971, where she confirmed her role as Plenty O'Toole in Diamonds Are Forever, part of the James Bond franchise. Wood's role as a Bond girl cemented her place in Hollywood history, capturing the glamour and intrigue of 007 films. This vintage image of Wood reflects the essence of retro Hollywood, where actresses like her helped shape the cultural significance of old Hollywood cinema. Brigitte Bardot in The Night Heaven Fell, 1957, embodies the carefree allure and rebellious spirit of the 1950s. The French actress, known for her sultry performances, became an international symbol of beauty and liberation. The Night Heaven Fell showcased her ability to blend innocence with sensuality, and her presence on screen was electric. This vintage photo captures the essence of Bardot's iconic role, making her one of the most influential stars of old Hollywood. A soldier returns home to his daughter after World War II, 1945. This photograph captures the emotional reunion, a moment that transcended time and became a symbol of the resilience and sacrifices made during the war. The raw emotion on their faces reflects the shared experience of families across the world, marking a new chapter in the post-war era. This vintage photo immortalizes a pivotal moment in Hollywood history as the nation welcomed home its heroes. Federico Fellini and Donald Sutherland on the set of Casanova, 1976. A visionary director and an acclaimed actor, their collaboration on this film marked a meeting of two cinematic forces. Fellini's distinctive style and Sutherland's unique presence created a captivating dynamic on screen, blending history with surrealism. This vintage image captures the creative energy behind one of Hollywood's golden age films. Eartha Kitt chatting with Marilyn Monroe at a charity auction in Waldorf Astoria, Manhattan, 1957. This rare photo captures two of the most iconic women in Hollywood history, both known for their fierce independence and undeniable allure. Kitt's sultry voice and Monroe's timeless beauty made them legends in their own right. This vintage photograph showcases the friendship and mutual respect between two Hollywood legends. Jacqueline Bisset in The Sweet Ride, 1968, where she dazzled as a sophisticated and independent woman navigating the world of surfers and beach culture. Bisset's beauty and talent made her one of the most beloved actresses of the late 60s, embodying both sensuality and depth. This vintage image of Bisset captures the free-spirited nature of the era and her enduring presence in Hollywood history. Janet Leigh, 1955. Best known for her chilling performance in Psycho, 1960, Leigh's career spanned across many genres, from horror to drama. Her striking beauty and compelling performances made her a staple in Hollywood's golden age. This vintage photo captures the elegance and mystery that Leigh brought to the screen. Sophia Loren visited Elvis Presley at the Paramount Studios cafeteria while he was filming Kin Creole in February 1958. The candid moment, captured by photographer Bob Willoughby, showcases Loren's effortless beauty and charm as she playfully tousled Presley's hair. Their meeting was a light-hearted exchange between two of Hollywood's biggest icons. This vintage photo reflects the fun, unguarded moments that made these stars even more captivating in old Hollywood. On March 25, 2001, Pamela Anderson and Elizabeth Hurley made a striking appearance together at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in Los Angeles. Anderson, the iconic C.J. Parker from Baywatch, and Hurley, known for her role in Austin Powers, exemplified Hollywood glamour. Their presence at the event was a symbol of the evolving celebrity culture of the early 21st century. This vintage photograph of Anderson and Hurley represents the modern, multi-dimensional nature of fame in retro Hollywood. Veronica Carlson, the British actress known for her roles in Hammer horror films, was inducted into the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards Munster Kid Hall of Fame in 2019. Carlson became a staple in the horror genre, captivating audiences with her striking beauty and dynamic presence. This vintage image of Carlson reflects her timeless influence in Hollywood history, particularly in the world of horror. Janet Leigh and John Gavin in Psycho, 1960. One of the most iconic horror films of all time, Psycho redefined the genre and cemented Leigh's place in cinematic history. The tension, the suspense, and the unforgettable twist remain embedded in the hearts of film lovers everywhere. This vintage photo of Leigh and Gavin captures the terrifying beauty of Hitchcock's masterpiece in Hollywood history. What's your favorite Hitchcock thriller? Share your thoughts in the comments. Sharon Tate, photographed by Arthur Saidi at her apartment in Belgravia, London, 1965. Tate's elegance and radiant beauty continue to captivate, forever immortalized in this stunning photograph. She remains one of Hollywood's most iconic figures despite her tragic fate. This vintage image is a poignant reminder of Tate's lasting impact on both cinema and fashion. This sultry 1980s portrait captures Shannon Tweed at the peak of her reign as Playboy's quintessential bombshell, a Canadian beauty who became synonymous with the decade's unapologetic glamour. Known for her role as Playboy's 1982 Playmate of the Year, Tweed's smoldering gaze captivated audiences, while her behind-the-scenes professional savvy showed her multifaceted talent. This vintage photo highlights Tweed's path from Playboy sensation to Hollywood icon. The year was 1967, the summer of love, when flower power exploded from Haight-Ashbury's psychedelic epicenter onto the global stage, transforming fashion into a vibrant political statement. The daisy motif became synonymous with peaceful resistance and rebellion. This vintage photograph encapsulates the heart of the counterculture movement. This striking 1985 portrait captures Rosanna Arquette at the zenith of her indie film queen reign. Known for her iconic roles in Desperately Seeking Susan and After Hours, Arquette's cool, downtown aesthetic made her one of the most influential figures of the 1980s. This vintage image reflects Arquette's indelible influence on new wave cinema. The year was 1959 when Julie Newmar posed for this luminous portrait, capturing her transition from Broadway star to screen icon. Known for her role as Catwoman in Batman 1966, Newmar's mix of intellect and allure redefined the classic Hollywood sex symbol. This vintage photo captures Newmar's transformation into a cultural icon. This sun-drenched 1970s photograph captures Jackie Fox during the early days of the Runaways. Fox's journey from punk rock stardom to Harvard Law School showcases the rebellious spirit that defined her era. This vintage snapshot symbolizes the bold and revolutionary energy of 1970s punk. Marilyn Monroe's candid 1950 remark to journalist Robert Emmett reveals the sharp wit and industry savvy behind her bombshell persona. This portrait from May 1950 captures Monroe as she began to master her public image and craft her legendary Hollywood mystique. This vintage photograph marks the beginning of Monroe's mastery of her craft. This luminous portrait of Monica Bellucci by Jean-Marie Perrier captures the Italian icon at the peak of her transformation from model to cinematic muse. Bellucci's beauty and talent made her one of Europe's most revered actresses in the 1990s. This vintage photo embodies the essence of Bellucci's rise to global stardom. In the sun-drenched glow of 1960s Hollywood, Annette Funicello and Nancy Sinatra embodied two sides of American femininity. Funicello's wholesome image contrasted with Sinatra's rebellious style, both navigating Hollywood's changing ideals. This vintage photograph captures the duality of American pop culture in the 60s. Monica Bellucci's meditation on beauty captures her evolution from Italian ingenue to cinematic icon. Her career, spanning continents and contradictions, redefined European glamour in every role she played. This vintage portrait represents Bellucci's transformation into an enduring global symbol of beauty and strength. In 1935, Mae West reigned as Hollywood's most scandalous and savvy star, rewriting her own dialogue and proving that women in film could wield power and influence. Known for her sharp wit and fearless persona, she pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable at the time. Her legacy continues to inspire as a symbol of female empowerment in the entertainment industry. The sun-bleached beaches of 1960s Southern California birthed more than just a surf culture. It launched an era-defining aesthetic of athletic femininity. These women not only rode waves, but challenged societal norms with every splash. Today, their images remain symbols of female strength and rebellion in the face of adversity. Betty Brosmer's impossibly cinched waist and gravity-defying curves made her the most photographed model of the 1950s, a living blueprint for post-war American femininity. Her influence continues to shape modern body positivity, offering a vision of beauty that transcends generations. Monica Bellucci's ethereal beauty and commanding presence have made her one of Europe's most iconic actresses. From law student to international star, her journey represents the power of reinvention. Today, Bellucci remains a symbol of timeless elegance and fierce independence. The neon noir dreamscape of Mulholland Drive, 2001, captured Naomi Watts and Laura Herring in a haunting photo shoot that encapsulated the tension and beauty of Lynch's world. This photograph has become a cultural artifact, forever memorializing the groundbreaking work of these two actresses. Sidney Skolsky's observation cuts to the heart of Marilyn Monroe's enduring mystique, the calculated vulnerability behind her bombshell persona. This 1953 photo shoot captures her duality as both Hollywood's most manufactured icon and its most profoundly real woman. Monroe's legacy endures as a masterclass in managing fame and authenticity. Lisa Marie Presley's life unfolded at the intersection of rock royalty and personal reckoning, shaped by the gravitational pull of her father's myth. She channeled her legacy into her own creative path, becoming a beacon for resilience and change. Today, her legacy continues to inspire through her music and philanthropy. Goldie Hawn's luminous performance in Butterflies Are Free, 1972, captured the essence of early 1970s Hollywood, a time when the industry began embracing more character-driven stories. Hawn's breakthrough role paved the way for her ongoing influence in both film and activism. Emilia Clarke's rise from unknown actress to one of the most recognizable faces of television came with her transformative role as Daenerys Targaryen. Her journey proves that resilience and talent can defy all odds. Today, Clarke continues to use her platform for good, supporting stroke survivors through her Same You Foundation. The image shows Jane Mansfield, an iconic American actress, model, and sex symbol of the 1950s and 1960s. Born Vera Jane Palmer, Mansfield became one of the most recognized figures in pop culture during her time. Known for her publicity stunts and open personal life, she was a sex symbol of the 50s and 60s. Despite a short-lived film career, Mansfield achieved several box office successes and won awards like the Theatre World Award and a Golden Globe Award. Her intelligence behind the dumb blonde image was key to her popularity. Mansfield is also remembered as the mother of actress Mariska Hargitay, famous for her role in Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Her legacy lives on in both cinema and pop culture.